Mr. Speaker, I move that the House suspend the rules and pass the bill H-Res 994 as amended, which expresses support for designation of a National Glanzmann Thrombasthenia Awareness Day.
The clerk will report the title of the resolution.
House Resolution 994, resolution expressing support for designation of a National Glanzmann Thrombasthenia Awareness Day.
Mr. Speaker, as a member of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, I stand for the consideration of H-Res 994 as amended, which expresses support for the designation of a National Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia Awareness Day. H-Res 996 was introduced by Representative Paul Braun of the fine state of Georgia on February 25, 2008, and has the support and co-sponsorship of 57 members of Congress. The measure was considered by the Oversight Panel on March 13, 2008, and was passed by voice vote at that time after being amended for technical purposes. Mr. Speaker, while many people may not be aware of Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia, which is an extremely rare disorder of the blood where the platelets lack glycoprotein, a key element needed for blood to clot, therefore significantly prolonging bleeding time. While on average there are only 200 cases of Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia reported every year, the disease and finding a cure for it still requires our attention, resources, and support. March the 1st, 2008 marked the inaugural commemoration of the National Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia Awareness Day. The day was celebrated with events, receptions, and our colleagues in the Senate chamber passed an identical resolution honoring and recognizing the importance of National Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia Awareness Day. And I think it's important that we in this body help to expand research awareness of Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia, which is why I rise in support of H-Res 994. Passage of this measure will help to raise the profile and the general public's awareness of this illness and the corresponding National Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia Awareness Day. I urge passage of this bill and reserve the balance of my time.
I rise today in support of this resolution urging the designation of a National Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia Awareness Day. Discovered in Switzerland in 1918, Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia, otherwise known as GT, is a rare and serious blood disorder that affects men, women, and children of all ages across the globe. The disease affects the ability of blood platelets to form or clot around the site of a broken blood vessel due to a deficiency of a specific protein on the surface of the platelet. Since the blood is unable to clot normally, those who suffer from GT are faced with uncontrollable, potentially life-threatening blood loss and severe bruising. A very rare and little-known hereditary disease, GT has severe emotional and physical effects on those who suffer from it. Children with GT often find themselves socially isolated as they are unable to participate in normal childhood activities such as sports or physically active play. There's no cure for this disease, and because it is so rare, there's little information on the symptoms and treatments. It is important that we support valuable organizations such as the Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia Research Foundation, founded by Helen P. Smith in 2001, in their effort to educate the public, promote awareness, and fund research of this serious disease. I urge my colleagues to join me in support of this resolution that seeks to raise the awareness of this serious, emotionally damaging, and potentially life-threatening disease.
Mr. Speaker, a few weeks ago, a beautiful young lady by the name of Julia Smith and her family came to my office. Julia lives in Augusta, Georgia, and is a constituent of mine. This 9-year-old young lady, when she was first born, was covered with bruises. Her parents, of course, were, needless to say, were very concerned, and they asked the doctor, bruising. The parents were told that this was just from a result of a difficult delivery. Short time thereafter, Julia had a little scratch on her face that resulted in bleeding that covered her whole face. And of course, her mom was frantic. The blood tests were normal. The family took Julia to the Medical College of Georgia. I'm a medical doctor, and so I'm proud of the Medical College of Georgia of doing the testing that was required to bring about the diagnosis of Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia in Julia. Well, her mom, Helen, was, of course, very distraught. So she started researching, trying to find out about this very rare disease. The more she searched, the more she realized that there was very little information anywhere. And she started meeting other families all around the country whose family members also suffered from, with the help of a small grant from a private individual, Helen Smith founded the Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia Research Foundation. And what she's doing is trying to find certainly the cure of this disease, but also is searching to try to find ways of informing people who have this disease about the disease and help to comfort them. And so it's a research foundation that is extremely needed to try to prevent the disease symptoms, which are uncontrollable bleeding, as well as very painful bruising. It's a life-threatening disease. But Ms. Smith talked to me about this disease, and as a physician, as a member of Congress, I realized that we really need to bring this disease to the forefront so that she can have some help. She's seeking for recognition. She's seeking for private grants and private funding of her foundation, which is very much needed. And hopefully, this young lady, Julia Smith, can live a long and fruitful life, and we can find a cure to this disease. In fact, the researchers say that there's a possibility of finding a cure within a matter of just the next few years. But without bringing public attention to the disease, then Ms. Smith's going to continue to struggle to try to get the recognition that she so richly deserves for this very rare blood disorder. So that's what this bill is all about, is to promote the awareness of Glanzmann's Thrombasthenia. March 1st has been chosen as the day to establish the National Glanzmann Thrombasthenia Awareness Day. This date was chosen to coincide with the date of the fundraiser for the Research Foundation. I want to thank Natalie Stroud of my office and my staff for her excellent work on this resolution. And I urge my colleagues to vote with me on passage of H.R. 994.
The question is, will the House suspend the rules and agree to House Resolution 994 as amended? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the chair, 2/3 being in the affirmative, the rules are suspended. The resolution is agreed to.